The night was quiet. Too quiet for a Friday. The small neon sign outside Millie's diner flickered in the drizzle, its pink glow washing over the wet asphalt. Inside, the smell of burnt coffee and fried bacon hung in the air. It was the kind of place where people came not for the food, but for the comfort of routine. Truckers, night owls, lost souls, all found refuge under that buzzing neon. Behind the counter stood Lena. She was 26, tired but kind-eyed, with her brown hair tied up in a messy bun. The soft hum of the coffee machine was the rhythm of her night shifts, and she'd grown used to serving strangers with a smile, even when life gave her no reason to. Tonight felt off. The clock ticked past midnight when the bell over the door jingled. 3 men stumbled in, leather jackets, cigarettes, trouble in their eyes. They reeked of beer and arrogance. The tallest one, a broad guy with a scar cutting through his eyebrow, slammed his palm on the counter. "Hey, sweetheart," he slurred. "Serve us, Btch!" Lena froze for a second. It wasn't the first time she'd dealt with drunks. But the way they looked at her, not as a person but as prey, made her stomach twist. Still, she smiled, shaky but polite. "What'll it be, gentlemen?" The other 2 laughed, mocking her tone. One of them leaned across the counter, too close. "You could start with your number, honey." Lena stepped back, her heart pounding. "Please sit down. I'll get you some coffee." But they weren't here for coffee. They wanted power. They wanted to break something. Or someone. To feel strong. The diner was nearly empty. An old couple in the corner looked away, pretending not to notice. A lone trucker shifted uneasily in his booth, but didn't move. Everyone waited, hoping it wouldn't escalate, hoping someone else would intervene. Lena placed 3 mugs on the counter, her hands trembling. The tall one snatched his cup, spilling hot coffee across the counter. "Oops." He grinned. "You gonna clean that up, Btch?" He leaned forward again, his hand brushing her wrist. Deliberate, possessive. Lena jerked back. Her voice cracked but she stood her ground. "That's enough, you need to leave." For a heartbeat, the diner went silent. Then laughter exploded, cruel and loud. The scarred man's face twisted into something darker. "You got guts, girl, but maybe you need a lesson in manners." He stood, knocking over the stool, and the sound echoed like thunder. Lena's throat tightened. No one moved. Not the old couple, not the trucker. Fear froze the room like ice. And then, the bell over the door jingled again. 5 men walked in. They weren't just anyone. You could tell from the heavy boots, the matching leather vests, and the insignia on the back. Steel Serpent's Motorcycle Club. Their presence filled the diner instantly, heavy and calm, like a storm that hadn't yet broken. At the front was Ridge, a graying man with kind eyes but a face weathered by miles of road and regret. He took one look at Lena, then at the 3 men blocking her path, and understood everything without a word. Ridge glanced at the counter, then at the spilled coffee. "Everything okay here, miss?" Lena swallowed hard. They were just leaving. The tallest thug scoffed. "We ain't going anywhere, old man. Mind your damn business." Ridge tilted his head, smiled faintly, not with humor but pity. "Son, this is my business." The diner held its breath. The thugs shifted nervously, realizing too late that they'd picked the wrong night for cruelty. One of Ridge's men, Tank, a bear of a man with a voice like gravel, stepped forward, crossing his arms. "Apologize to the lady." "Now." The scarred thug laughed, but it came out forced. "You don't tell me what to." Before he could finish, Tank's fist slammed into the counter beside him, making every mug jump. "I said, apologize." Silence. The tension broke like glass. The men stammered something that barely resembled an apology, their bravado leaking away like air from a punctured tire. They stumbled toward the door, muttering curses. But before leaving, Ridge spoke again, soft but sharp as a blade. "You walk out now, and you think about who you almost became tonight. You got a mother, a sister. Then remember, every woman you hurt is someone's everything." The words hit harder than any punch could. They left, quiet, small. Lena stood frozen, tears glistening in her eyes. Her knees felt weak, and she gripped the counter for balance. Ridge turned back to her with a gentle smile. "You okay, sweetheart?" She nodded, though her voice broke. "Thank you. I didn't know what to do." "You did just fine," Ridge said. "You stood up for yourself. That takes guts." The bikers sat down like it was the most normal thing in the world. "Coffee for the road," Ridge said. "And maybe one of those pies." Lena chuckled weakly, wiping her eyes. "Coming right up." As she poured their coffee, she noticed the quiet in the diner had shifted. The old couple smiled at her. The trucker nodded in respect. The fear that had hung in the air was replaced by something new: safety, dignity. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen. The hours passed, and the bikers stayed until dawn. Ridge told stories about roads and storms and the brotherhood that saved him from his own demons. Lena listened, her heart lighter with every word. Before leaving, Ridge handed her a card. It was worn and faded, but she could still read the words "Steel Serpents," "Protect the road, protect the innocent." "If you ever need help," Ridge said softly, "call that number, day or night." Lena held the card tightly. "Thank you for everything." He smiled. "Nah, you already helped yourself. We just reminded the world how to act." The engines roared to life outside, breaking the morning stillness. As they rode off, the rising sun caught the chrome, turning them into streaks of light. Weeks later, Lena's life began to change. She found confidence in her voice. She stood up for herself at work, started night classes, and told her story. Not as a victim, but as a survivor. The diner became known for that night, not because of the violence, but because of the courage that bloomed in its aftermath. Sometimes, she'd look out at the road and hear the echo of motorcycle engines fading into the horizon, and she'd smile, knowing that somewhere, out there, goodness still rode the highways. Because sometimes heroes wear leather and grease, sometimes kindness looks like strength, and sometimes standing up, even when your voice shakes, is the most powerful thing you can do. You never know how much strength you have until life forces you to use it. And you never know how powerful kindness can be until it shows up right when the world goes dark. If this story moved you, tell me in the comments. Have you ever stood up for someone or had someone stand up for you? Share your story. Let's fill the world with courage and kindness. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story to remind others that bravery still exists in quiet corners of the world.